Howdy folks, R with Permaculture Newbies here. Ridiculous mustache, I understand. It was part of a costume. It's going away probably tonight, just so you know, because I'm aware of how silly it looks. Today, we're going to start working on swamp cooler. You might remember this from previous video last year. This was an AC powered swamp cooler, portable swamp cooler that we purchased to use in the cabin. It bit the dust. I think the electronics may not have worked very well with the inverter. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't work anymore. But that's fine, because what we're going to do is I'm going to disassemble this and I'm going to convert it to DC. I've got a DC fan, DC water pump, and I'm even going to put a float valve in there so we don't have to worry about filling the water anymore. It's going to have a float valve and it'll fill itself. So the first step is going to be disassembly. Okay, so we've got it disassembled here. First of all, this little thing here is what these portable coolers consider to be a cooling pad. This is ridiculous. It hardly held any water and didn't do much good at all. Basically, with this little pad, it was pretty much just blowing hot air. So I kind of hacked it with this. This is a piece of a regular cooling pad. I just stuck it in here right on top of this, and it held a whole lot more water and actually cooled. So we've got it disassembled here. We can see the meat of it. It's got the squirrel cage here, pump here, the pump. I've got a 12-volt DC pump, roughly the same size even. I think I might even be able to just put it right back in the same place. Maybe even snag some of the original wiring there. Hopefully use the same tube, and then these guys will get the new pad wet. This squirrel cage is going away. All these electronics are going away because we don't need any of those anyway. The panel here is going to stay just because I don't want to worry about getting rid of it, but we won't be using that. It'll just have two switches. It'll have a fan switch and then a pump switch. Pump is going to turn on this water pump and also going to turn on the water pump. It's going to be on the exterior that's going to pump water in based on the float valve here. And then also I have a fan controller, rheostat. That'll go in line as well. Well, just for posterity, here's the controller board. And look at that resistor all burnt. So that right there would be why it wasn't working anymore, clearly. Okay, so here it is, stripped of everything electronic or everything AC. So, you can see the pump. And then, like I said, we're going to have a float valve off to the side. There's the fan I'm going to put on the front. So, yeah, here we go. Okay, well, I'm out of daylight for tonight. So, this is where I'm going to have to stop. But this will at least give you an idea of what we're going for here. So it's going to be a much simpler piece of equipment. Just the fan on the front, pump in the sump there, and then float valve to keep it filled. Day 2. So here's the hole for the fan, and as you can see, I'm going to have to cover this up with something. So I've got this piece of metal here. I'm going to bolt it down, and then I'm not even going to cut it down in size. I'm just going to fold this over and bolt it down here as well. I've got some weather stripping to seal that up, and then from there I will cut the hole out for my fan, and then I've got weather stripping to put under the fan and bolt that down. Okay, so there's the plate in place. As you can see, it's got weather stripping and it's all the way around, and it's all screwed in place. Okay, so the outside line is just a line around the fan, and then I scribed a line inside that I'm going to cut. Going to use the rotozip and cut out the hole. Okay, all the physical work is done here. You can see we've got the fan on top. We've got the weather stripping around the fan as well. A float valve. This is just a standard swamp cooler float valve. It's going to take some adjustment once it's all together, probably, to get it to where I want it. Just coming out here to a 1/4 inch, and then that'll go to our water pump. And then this pump needs to be changed still. That's still the AC pump. Having trouble finding my 12 volt pumps. But I have a couple of them laying around. I just gotta look for them. And once that's done, I'm gonna button it all up, and then I gotta give it a coat of paint, because if this is gonna be sitting outside the sun, this plastic's gonna deteriorate rather quickly, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, so we're gonna do a wiring test of my fan controller. First of all, this is a 20 amp fan controller, and I've got a 20 amp fuse on it. Obviously my wires aren't that great right now, but this is just a test. Got one of my Odyssey batteries that I use for my solar system. This little jumper here is in place of this switch. This switch was a 2-position switch, and one direction was one direction of the fan, the other was the other direction of the fan. So air going in versus air going out. I don't care about that. I only want air coming in. So I think I'm just going to jumper this. I may change my mind and wire this back in. We'll see. But I don't think so. I think I only want it the one way. So here we go. That moves a lot of air right there. That's great. Okay, now a test of the pump. And pumping the fan together. You can tell it's drawn a fair bit of air just because it's pulled the stream in. Alright, so that's that. It works. Now it's not going to get its final wiring until we're installing it in the bedroom. The last thing to do is I'm going to use some of this truck bed coating that I've had for a while, and we're going to paint it just for UV protection. This is going to be sitting out in the sun now, and I don't want that plastic to deteriorate in the sun. And here she is, all finished. Now I'm not going to do the final wiring until we actually install it in the bedroom, but you will see this again once it's installed, and I'll show it off all being completed. I think that's where I'm going to end today. As always, if you like what you see here, please give us a like and maybe think about subscribing, and thank you for watching.